Hey, welcome to the video. It's me, Joe Schmo. So I got me a pack of the H3 cards. I think I ordered these bad boys like 3 months ago. They just got here like last weekend. Now with more prolapses. So I thought it would be a fun video idea once I got these in to unpack the cards, and then I'll go over the lore of each card, because I guess that's been like an issue with it's been like a joke on the show where the lore has become so meta that new people watching the show just have no clue what's even going on. And then after I'm done with that, I'm gonna take a picture of each of these cards, and I think I'm gonna do a little tier list, best card to worst card. Gotta be very, very careful here. First card, Ethan on the apology podium. Says, Ethan apologizes to your opponent for releasing the foot soldiers, lowering their defenses this turn. They're your new BFFF. There's a lot of lore in this card. So the apology podium is like this ongoing joke on the show where whenever Ethan fucks up, he goes to the apology podium and apologizes for whatever he just did. But then if we actually go into the description of the card, we see Ethan apologizes to your opponents for releasing the foot soldiers. The foot soldier army started when Ethan started a war against WikiFeet. If you don't know, WikiFeet is a website that ranks different feet, and Ethan, with the help of the H3 audience, the foot soldiers, was able to become the king of WikiFeet until he was eventually kicked off the website. Also says they're your new BFFF. That right there is Ethan always goes back and forth with all of the people he talks shit on, and then like he'll talk shit on somebody this week, and then next week they're like best friends. Next we have Gila. Reel it in. Gila stops your team from getting another community guideline strike, doubling your attack this turn. She wants to smell feet. All right, so again, a lot of lore here in the description of the card. So if you're super duper like unaware of what this podcast is all about, Gila is Ethan's wife. She's the co-host of the show. Well, like most of the show. She used to be on like every episode, but now she's only in like, I think Friday she comes in, and is Ethan's wife. It also doubles as his babysitter, and she is often, trying to reel him in and helping him spend less time on the apology podium. There's also a sound clip of her saying that she wants to smell feet. Her, obviously being the wife of the former king of WikiFeet, she's quite fond of feet. That's like a soundbite they always play of her. I want to smell feet. Dan, and this one is cool. So we got Dan Scorpion Slash, and he's in the Scorpion chair, and we have Dan Scorpion chair plugs into the mainframe, allowing him to sense your opponent's next move. He bans them from the metaverse. So the lore here, really, like the only like thing worth talking about here, I guess, is the Scorpion chair. I don't know, honestly, like I'm a little fuzzy on this piece of H3 lore, but the Scorpion chair was like an ongoing joke. I think they did a segment where they were making fun of it at some point, and then they realized that it was like more affordable than they assumed it would be, and Ethan offered to buy Dan this ridiculous chair that he uses on the podcast. And now it's a part of the show, and he commands the H3 podcast from his Scorpion chair. And I guess I'm not actually a member or anything like that, so I guess he also bans people from the Discord chat. I don't know that piece, but yeah, Scorpion chair. Zach. We got Zach getting zilly zonked. Zach pranks your opponent by awarding them with a factory of rotten fruit, lowering their morals this turn. They're a fucking loser piece of shit. So this starts with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, if you don't know, has his own chocolate bars. When he launched his chocolate bars, he did like a, chocolate factory, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory type giveaway, where one of the cards was a golden ticket, and you could win a chocolate factory. So they bought the chocolate bars for the podcast to review, and in Ethan's chocolate bar, they actually opened it up and put in a fake ticket. It was like a prank, making it look like he won. They made a fake website and everything. And when Ethan went in to put in his code to like claim his prize for the Mr. Beast thing, it was just Zach. It was Zilly Zonka. They Zilly Zonka'd him because he's a piece of shit. I love Zach. Zach really does make that show, man. Ever since they hired him to do the sound bites, it really does elevate like the show. It makes it so much more entertaining to watch. AB Bongo Box. All right, we got some fucking lore here, ladies and gentlemen. It's kind of funny that he's wearing boxing gloves. I'm actually going out to Creator Clash to see Dad whoop his ass in the ring, so that'll be fun. AB equips his bongos, stressing him out and doubling his attack next turn. He knocks your opponent out. Well, AB, bit of a boxer these days. He fought, second year in Creator Clash. He's gonna be fighting Dad this year. where dad's gonna probably, I really hope AB lives through this. The bongo drums though, I know the bongo drum story. That's some significant lore right there. So when AB was in like school, or just when AB was younger, so I don't like get it wrong, he was dating a girl, I guess, or seeing a girl, had the girl come over to the house, and I guess they're alone on the couch, and AB got out his Donkey Kong bongo game. It's like a rhythm-based game for Donkey Kong where you actually bang on 2 bongo drums. And he just like nervously played the game, I guess, as the girl stared at him, and then I think the girl like insulted him, called him a pussy or some shit, and walked away. Pretty funny. Olivia's been talking this entire time. Delete it, bald. Olivia exposes your opponent's hairline, lowering their morals and causing them to have a hard time the rest of the weekend. Okay, there's some lore here. Deleted bald. I'm not sure if that is a soundbite. I don't remember that being used. The hairline thing is a constant trope on the show. It's like a running joke. Ethan is the hairline king, and how he's actually able to maintain his hairline is he absorbs the hairlines of his enemies, which is why so many of his enemies, I'm not even gonna say any of them, but yeah, it's why so many of his enemies are they're a bit follically challenged. Have a hard time the rest of the weekend, I think, is a callback to some drama they covered involving Demi Lovato. And the drama there was she went to like a yogurt shop. They didn't have her flavor, and then she like trashed them on Twitter or some sort of social media, and saying after they didn't have her flavor, she had a hard time the rest of the weekend. That's the lore I'm able to pull out of the Olivia card. Ian, honestly, if you're new to the show, you probably don't even know what Ian looks like. He's not often seen on camera. Thought thinker. Ethan asks Ian for thoughts, allowing your team to predict your opponent's next move. He attacks twice this turn. First of all, I love all of these cards so far. They're actually really well made. The Olivia card is actually like holographic. So the Ian thoughts thing is a running joke on the H3 podcast, where Ethan always asks Ian for his thoughts on a topic, mostly involving Kanye West. That's how it originated, at least. Whenever there would be new drama or something occurring with Kanye West, Ethan would ask Ian for thoughts, because Ian used to be a moderator on the Kanye West Reddit. He actually at one point like got pulled to do an article, like somebody interviewed him about Kanye West in the Reddit, and he like said all this crazy shit like it's chaos over here, it's the end of the world. That's the lore here with the Ian card. Cam, I love Cam. Bunny hop. Cam summons an army of bunnies, allowing him to hop away from battle this turn. His attacks are tripled. I feel like there's more to this, but I just want to say Cam likes bunnies. He does all the digital sets for the show, digital artwork, all of the memes. He's a Photoshop wizard. I believe he was also an intern on Adult Swim. He was an intern. He definitely worked for Adult Swim. So if you watch the podcast, you'll notice a bunch of bunnies in the background. I'm not sure if that's the root of the bunny hop thing going on here, or if it's even more meta than I'm even able to realize. But yeah, that's all there is to it. I really like Cam. I really like following him on social media. He has a lot of like interesting digital art he posts. Really interesting, cool guy. Love, heckin' dog. Love catches a doggone alligator from Arizona, allowing him to chomp your opponents 3 times this turn. He thanks you for the gifted. So Love is an American weeaboo. If you don't know what that is, look up what a weeaboo is and apply that to a person who does not live in America, thinking about America. Someone who is a fan of American culture, okay? He loves American culture. He's from Sweden. Pretty cool guy. Reply guy gone. Popular Twitch streamer, really. And, obviously, what is he? He's like the lore keeper of the H3 podcast, right? Like, he's like the mega fan over there. So Heckin' Dog, Love's backstory is he actually wrangled up all the alligators in Arizona. He is such a prolific alligator wrangler that, as there are no alligators in Arizona, and that is the lord of this card, man. Sam, what is this artwork? I love all of the artwork of these cards. I guess I really haven't been noting that enough, but this one is particularly cool. Got a big ass. Oh, she's playing Fortnite. Okay. Sam is a god at Fortnite. Before I even get into this card. Build mode. Sam builds an army of props and destroys your opponents. She gets a #1 victory royale. Sam does a lot of the props for the show. She also is very crafty at Fortnite, my dog. So you got her the Fortnite thing going on. So yeah, she does a lot of the creative stuff on the show. I think she also works over at Teddy Fresh now. as, you know, another creative position. I don't know exactly what it's called or what exactly she does, but yeah, she does a lot of the props for the show. She is a creative, and she does creative things for both the H3 podcast and Teddy Fresh. Lena, Spice Queen. Lena eats the hottest chip, doubling her attack this turn. She gives your opponent the Heimlich and lowers their defenses. Lena is actually, I believe her like official title is Ethan's assistant. I feel like whenever they call her his assistant, it really demeans her role on the show. She's a very intriguing personality to watch and see her interact with people. Definitely a net positive to the show. If you're familiar with the one chip challenge, they did that on the show, and I believe she still holds the record. If not, at the time she had the record, and she like blew it out of the water. She like was not even phased by the one chip challenge. So yeah, she's the Spice Queen. And the Heimlich maneuver here, she what does it say? She gives your opponent the Heimlich and lowers their defenses. It's because her husband is AB. Talked about him a little bit earlier. He's gonna get his ass beat by Dad at Creator Clash this year. But her husband is AB, and he choked on a steak at Bennigan's? Choked on a steak somewhere. They did a whole thing on the show afterwards to demonstrate the Heimlich maneuver because the experience was so scary. More importantly, I'm not sure how AB is going to fight Dad if he can't even fight a piece of steak down his tight little throat. Shredder and Alfredo, guard puppy. Shredder and Alfredo bark at your opponent after they enter battle, lowering their attack. Your team is guarded for 2 turns. Shredder and Alfredo are Ethan and Hila's dogs. I believe Shredder recently had a bit of a scare or is still going through some sort of like medical treatment. I think he had kidney failure, liver failure. Regardless, it wasn't looking good for him for a little bit. Very, very upsetting to everyone on the show, but I haven't heard anything recently or them talk about it on the show that I remember. So I think he's doing much better now. But yeah, they're the dogs. They're the dogs. They bark. Yeah, they're guard dogs. That's pretty much all the lore there is to that. Families. Wow, okay, this might get in-depth. Boomer Bash. Donna spends 45 minutes trying to connect to the battle, tiring out your opponent. Gary stabs their beach balls and lowers their attacks. This one's pretty lore heavy. This card is juiced. This card is juiced. So, families. This is Donna and Gary, Ethan's mom and dad. The lore here, I'm just gonna go over as I look at the card to remember. Okay, so Donna spends 45 minutes trying to connect to the battle, tiring out your opponents. They're boomers. I don't know what to tell you. That joke kind of tells itself. But then Gary stabs their beach balls and lowers their attack. So when Ethan was a kid and his dad Gary would take him to baseball games, and they would throw like the beach ball around. You might have gone to a sports event. Everyone's having a great time and loving life and enjoying their youth and kicking around a beach ball for some fun. Well, he's a boomer, you know. They're not too partial to fun. So he would pop the beach balls and ruin everyone's day because he's a boomer psychopath. I don't know. There's a bit more lore there. Ethan's dad. You gotta watch the show more if you want to know more about the dad. But yeah, he used to pop beach balls at sporting events because they would annoy him. But one thing I remember him saying, I think, was like, "Oh, I paid X amount for this ticket, and you're ruining my fun." Everyone there paid X amount for the ticket, and the majority of the people want to toss the ball around that paid the same amount for the ticket, but for some reason you feel entitled to tell them all, "No, I want to watch the game my way. Y'all knock it off." Why wouldn't you just watch the game at home, dude? Like, I don't get it. God bless him. God bless him, though. God bless him. Him playing Halo against Donna was awesome. Leftovers. Liver Lords. Flip a coin. If heads, Hassan eats raw liver and raises his primal attack. If tails, Ethan eats raw liver and lowers your opponent's subprimal attacks. So Leftovers obviously is Ethan and Hassan's podcast on like the H3 thing. It's weird how it's like the H3 podcast, but they have like multiple shows they do on the podcast. But yeah, this is Leftovers. It's the podcast that's all about politics, has Hassan Piker on it. They had the Liver King on at one point, if you're familiar with who that is. So that's the whole subprimal primal thing. And then obviously Liver King's whole thing was he eats raw livers, and he considered Hassan to be a bit more of a primal than Ethan. So that's like the up the primal, the down primal. But yeah, that's the lore there. It's Liver King based. Pride Minute, 60-second celebration. Start a timer. Choose one attacker to fight continuously for 1 minute before bashing them to the closet realm for the rest of the battle. So Pride Minute started off because Dr. Jordan Peterson at one point made a comment about Pride Month where it's like, a month, you need a whole month for Pride. Dr. Jordan Peterson, of course, being a bigot. And then at one point on the show, he had Young Gravy on, and he actually kissed Young Gravy. That's not photoshopped. That happened. Ethan and Young Gravy kissed on the show. Pretty cool. So anyway, now in retaliation, going over the topic of Dr. Jordan Peterson criticizing there being a whole month dedicated to Pride, they do a Pride Minute on the show. Yeah, that's that. AB's Burrito. Mystery meat. The mystique of AB's Burrito shocks and confuses your opponents, disgusting them and healing your team this turn. I never got the AB's Burrito thing. I think the burrito looks perfectly fine. Like, what's wrong with that? Like, I don't understand what's wrong with the burrito. I don't get it. But yeah, I don't know. Evidently there's something wrong with the burrito. It became a meme, and there it is. That's AB's Burrito. They often speculate on what is inside the burrito, because of course you have no way of knowing. And this was all to promote HelloFresh. That's a great way to promote your sponsors, is when you use their product and then criticize the outcome. Like, part of the allure of HelloFresh is it's easy to do, and then AB tries to make a burrito and the whole podcast just rips him to shreds for how bad it looked. Technical difficulties. Dan pulls the plug on battle before things get out of hand, dodging your opponent's attack this turn. So again, Ethan can be pretty controversial. That's why the Gila card included like reeling him in. That was why it was called Reel It In, because Ethan kind of flies off the handle sometimes and makes some pretty explosive jokes, if you will. So sometimes they like have this button to hit where they just kind of mute them out. It says please stand by. But this is a callback to how Ethan can sometimes say things out of pocket. My friend Neil, prolapse pop. When your opponent bent over, this happened. Does somebody know, is this COVID related? And if it is, what do we do about it? Ow. So if you are familiar with Howie Mandel, you might know that he posted a pretty risque TikTok depicting a man prolapsing his anus. He insists he didn't know what it was. Okay. Anyway, Ethan thought it was the greatest thing in the world, would not drop it. And this was, I think, right before or after going on Howie's podcast. But then since then, it's just Ethan has succeeded in not letting this man ever forget about this prolapse TikTok. Had him on the show and actually had a gentleman by the name of Hunger FM come on and prolapse for him live on the show. Just harassed him to the point like we're now like other people talk about it, bring it up on other podcasts. It truly made Howie's career. Howie is now the prolapse guy. So that is all of the cards. Let me just get these together. So that's it. That's the whole pack. Good amount of cards here. I was actually expecting there to be less cards overall. All pretty high quality cards. They feel really good to the touch. They feel like this is not like some cheap, flimsy product. That like this is a premium pack of cards right here. Now I'm going to cut the video. I'm going to have to take a picture of each one of these cards and we'll do the tier list. All right, so here I whipped up our tier list. I just got it open in Photoshop, and let's start right with Sam. Actually I don't want to start with Sam. Let's start from the bottom. They're all so good. Let's start with Dan. Dan's card, it's pretty cool. Scorpion Slash, Dan Scorpion Chair plugs into the... So how do I grade these? Do I grade them off of like how lore heavy they are? Like how meta the card is, or the art? I guess all. So I think the art here is really, really cool. You got Dan like in the Matrix in a scorpion chair, the background, the art's really, really cool. Dan's scorpion chair plugs into the main frame, allowing him to sense your opponent's next move. He bans them from the metaverse. Not too lore heavy in my opinion. Not very meta card, but a very cool card nonetheless for now. Honestly, these are all so cool. This is going to be a really, really tough match. I'm going to put them down in E. And that's just these cards fighting against themselves because they're all super cool cards. I like all of them. So I'm putting Dan all the way down at E, which really kills me because I really, really like the card. But that's where it's gonna hang out, man. I'm gonna be a stickler. Let's just try to start from the bottom, work our way up. Families. Also, I'll add some lore that I think I forgot to add to some of these cards as I go. Families was a spin-off of Frenemies, kind of, right? Is that right? I don't know how you describe it, but originally had a show called Frenemies. He had it with Trisha Paytas. You probably should know about that. But this was kind of like a play on words after that ended. So the art's pretty basic. It's cool. Great looking card. But pretty basic art. Oh, butterflies. The butterflies. She's the Dawnarch. She loves monarch butterflies, and while she was doing family, she would promote monarch butterflies and things that you could do to help the monarch butterflies. Pretty lore essential right there. Boomer Bash. Donna spends 45 minutes trying to connect to the battle, tiring out the opponent. Gary stabs beach balls. So this is like the opposite of the Dan card, in my opinion, where the art is less impressive, but it's extremely lore heavy. It's very meta to the H3 podcast, which is always like, you know, you're a fan of the H3 podcast, you're buying their cards. It's nice to have little inside jokes. It's making me reconsider where I want to put Dan, but I'm going to put them both down at E, which seems rough. But again, this is just ranking the cards amongst themselves. They're all awesome. So yeah, Gila, reel it in. Gila stops your team from getting another community guideline strike, doubling your attacks this turn. She wants to smell feet. I like this card. I'm being really strict here on these cards. Like I'm hammering them, but compared to some of these other cards, it's like funny and it's meta that, you know, Gila's normally the voice of reason. She's normally like, you know, reel it in. Like, but is that meta enough? I mean, like, this is where I'm going off of. So like, let's bring my favorite card up to Gila here, because I feel like I have to explain myself already. Very nice card. But this card is like on another level. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. She's like Fortnited out with her pickaxe, and now I'm supposed to compare this to Gila. So, I don't know. Honestly, God, man. Ugh. These are some spicy takes, but honestly, as much as I like this card, I like Gila, so I'm like really happy this card exists, and I would definitely take it rather than leave it. I'm super happy it was in this pack. I'm actually gonna drop this down below E tier. I'm gonna put an F tier. This feels really bad, but yeah. All right, love this card. Lena, Spice Queen. You know, the art's really cool. It is just fire. It's pretty basic. It's pretty simplistic design, but it cap. Oh my God. 1 second. 1 second. This is really important. So in this card, you know, if you haven't already noticed, we're wearing the same shirt. So me and Lena are twinsies, and because of the twinsy status, she is going to get a very, very, very easy pick here to S tier. The lore on the card was great with the chip. The spicy chip was really great. That episode was great. I like her. I like the card, and she has a great sense in style and fashion. So my twinsy Lena is going to go in S tier, easy S tier. So Zach, Zilly Zonka. There's a whole Mr. Beast thing here. The joke with the Mr. Beast bars, the setup for Ethan. Honestly, the card itself, I like this little piece of lore. The art's pretty good. I like the art here. I like the art of all these cards again. I'm going to keep saying that. But this art's pretty cool. But honestly, I really like Zach. I like the Zilly Zonka bit. I love it whenever it comes up. I'm going to put this, though, in B tier. It just feels B tier. I mean, if these guys are all the way down here in F tier, and honestly, that's mostly just because I personally really like the Zilly Zonka joke, and just I'm happy to see it being acknowledged. Although it does make my picks for E and F seem really bad, but you know what? I don't care. My friend Neil. Oh yeah, I don't think I explained this before. My friend Neil is like, that was the person supposedly that was having the medical emergency here with the prolapsed anus. This joke has taken on a life of its own with Howie Mandel. I've seen other people talking about it on other podcasts, and Ethan was the person who just wouldn't give up, wouldn't let it die. This would not have gotten to the level it got if it were not for Ethan, the H3 podcast. And again, love to see it brought up again, loving to see it. But so this right here is one of the best memes that came from the H3 podcast. So similar to the Zilly Zonka, the card itself is going to get a little bit of a boost for me because it's great. It's just this bit has just kept the the dream alive. If it weren't for Ethan constantly bringing up Howie Mandel posting a prolapsed anus on TikTok, this would have died. This would not have gotten to the point where it got. I've seen us discuss in other podcasts. Guests that he shows it to, take it with them, talk about in other podcasts. So this card is going to get a bit of a boost for me just because of the content it was derived from. And for that reason, it's going to get a similar grading to Zach's. But honestly, if Zach's here, I think Zach gets a bigger boost and is more meta to the H3 podcast than the freaking prolapsed anus, in my opinion. This is like something that's like Howie. This is Howie's joke, and Ethan just wouldn't drop it. This is an H3 podcast original event here. This is Zilly Zonka is an invention of the H3 podcast, not just publicized by the H3 podcast. And for that reason, it's going in C tier, baby. It's not Zilly Zonka material. It's great. It's great, but not as good as Zilly Zonka. AB, bongo box. AB equips his bongo, stressing him out and doubling his attack next turn. He knocks the opponent out. The bongo box story is awesome. Him getting embarrassed like that in front of a girl. It's definitely, this as a card, it's definitely not My Friend Neil material. So it's got to go lower than My Friend Neil. The art is better for Dan's card, but the lore is better for AB's card. But there is significant lore here, and I do like the bongo skit, so E. It's getting an E. Ian Thought Thinker, the reference here to him always being asked for his thoughts whenever Kanye West was brought up. That was like a long-running joke, and as Kanye West got bigger, the joke got bigger, and I'm going to include that in rating this card. So yeah, I mean, the Kanye meme, the subreddit, the lore there with him and being a moderator, him being interviewed and like making a joke out of the interview about how the Reddit was being handled when Kanye was having his last mental breakdown. The art's really cool too. I like the art. So it's got both good meta. Still feel it's not quite on My Friend Neil level. I'm going to put it right next to My Friend Neil in C for now. That's where it's going. Technical difficulties. I like this card, but it feels, you know what? Ethan's in it. E for Ethan, baby. Going in E. Olivia. Everyone loves Olivia. Olivia's been talking this entire time. I don't know. I feel like I'm not experienced enough to give this card a proper rating. I'm not a true enough fan of the H3 podcast. So just assuming that the lore might be a little bit better than I'm going to give it credit for, I'm going to give it a courtesy bump up to D. It's going to get D because it is not on this level. It is not on this level. But I just feel like I'm missing something. And for my own ignorance, it gets courtesy point, and that's going to bring it to a D tier. Cam, love everything Cam is about. Cam is an absolute pleasure to humanity. He also has a bunny suit. I don't know if he just started putting bunnies in everything or if he started wearing he just likes bunnies. I think Cam just likes bunnies. And you know what? I'm a man. I'm a man who also can understand like having an irrational obsession with like a particular animal. So I don't know. I feel like me and Cam probably have a lot in common. I like Cam. I like to see his art online. I also like that we both share similar stylistic choices at times. All right. You know what? So here's what we're going to do. Cam is going in S tier because I like Cam. I like the whole colors. I like the flowers here. I like the bunnies. I just like Cam. I am a freaking fan of Cam, okay? Gets fanboy points for me. Okay, I'm biased. But it just feels so wrong leaving her down here in F tier. It's just not fucking right, honestly. I'm gonna let her hang out with Ethan here in the E tier. I got a spicy take with AB Burrito. I don't think the burrito looked that bad. I never understood the AB Burrito meme. I think that AB got done super duper dirty with everyone's reaction to his good burrito. Good burrito. This is a perfectly fine burrito, and y'all made this into a huge deal over nothing. And for that reason, And for that reason, I don't think that the premise of this card should even be a thing. Mystery meat. What do you think you put in there? Nails? I don't know. I don't know. No. This is a delicious burrito. I would eat that, and just based on the fact that I don't think this should even be a thing, and y'all did AB dirty. F tier. Leftovers. Liver lords. Flip a coin if heads. Hassan eats raw liver. Raises his primal attack. Ethan eats raw liver. Okay, so it's the Liver King reference for leftovers because he was on leftovers once. But in comparison to some of these other cards or what they could have done, I don't like it. F tier. Freaking Love. You know, another thing about Love is he rides motorcycle. He actually once recorded himself ripping on his motorcycle with like a foot camera, and he did it barefoot, which I also ride motorcycle. They put this in the card, which is cool. Whoa. What the fuck? Nobody lives here. I live by myself. Anyway, I ain't scared of no ghost. Ain't no ghost gonna kill me. What the fuck? Anyway, moving on. I'm feeling A tier on this one. I'm just feeling A tier on this one, guys. Oh, this is the actual Ethan card. Apology podium. E for Ethan. Let's put him with Hila right here. Right here, next to Hila. And then Sam here, this better captures what Sam's all about, in my opinion. And it's very, very aesthetically pleasing. You know what? I just like the way this card looks more. So, yeah, it's gonna go in S tier. Shredder and Alfredo, my goodness. Going, nope. They're not as bad as AB's burrito or the leftovers. I like this card definitely more than them. I'm gonna make this, they're gonna be a family. They're all gonna be together. Pride Minute. I like the Pride Minute because it makes a fuck out of Jordan Peterson, and having him on Young Gravy on was a big deal. This is a good card. Almost the same level as Love's card. It's getting an A tier. But anyway, that's all for me. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for your time. Thank you for clicking my video as opposed to any other video you could be watching right now or any productive activity you could be involved in right now. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.